the impact that men have on the spiritual formation of their families is greater.
Yeah.
And that's not that's just statistically. If you look at if men are engaged in their walk and in their walk in the church, the kids are much more likely to be involved.
Yeah, well, that's how God designed. The man is the spiritual. Set up to be the spiritual leader of the home.
Hey guys, welcome to the Troy Gramling podcast. I am so glad that you have decided to join us today because this is a very special episode. I've got some incredible guests. We'll get to them in just a moment, but I'll remind you, if you haven't, go ahead and subscribe and share because our heart's desire is to create a sense of community. We want you to connect with others that will help you reach your destiny, your purpose. We do a live stream on Sunday nights at 7 o'clock, along with on the playlist. If you check it out, we've got some leadership lessons, and my book now has been out for about 3 months. And if you haven't picked it up, I really would invite you to do so. I'm proud of the message that's in it. I think it can be an encouragement to you. And if you have picked it up, you could be a huge help if you would leave a review because the algorithm is king and it helps other people to hear the message. It's almost an evangelistic tool, you might say, because what Amazon does is dependent upon how many reviews we get, how many purchases we get, all those things, comments, all those things are really important when it comes to getting the book in front of people so that they can make their own decisions along the way. But I'm glad you're here today. I want to introduce you to my guest. We're going to talk about men. We're going to talk about women. We're going to talk about what makes them different, how they are the same, and why we would choose to do a conference for the men one night and the women on another. So welcome, guys, to the podcast.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Glad to be here.
So here's what we're going to do, just so everybody kind of knows who you are. I have you guys introduce yourself to the audience today, those who are watching and those who are listening on all the different platforms. And so we'll start with the ladies.
Go ahead.
Yes, so I am Steph Gramling, your wife, your other half.
That's it.
Yeah.
And we've been married for how long?
For 35 years. Wow. Yeah, I was 35 in July. Long time.
It is a long time, but it's been awesome.
It's been amazing. Yes, a great 35 years.
Yes, you were blessed.
I am blessed.
You are.
Yes, well, I am Amber Gramling, and me and my husband are on staff at Potential. I'm married to your oldest son, and I have your greatest grandkids in the world.
Yes,
so,
yes. They are amazing.
But yeah, so I lead alongside Pastor Steph, a part of our She Ministry and the women's conference that we have. And it's amazing to do it. So I've been a part of staff for 11 years. And
11 years.
Yeah. Keep on going.
One day at a time.
Yeah.
Let's cross the Gulf. Do we cross the Gulf?
The Gulf, the Atlantic.
No,
Well, we don't really cross the Atlantic.
I mean,
we're going to go south.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
Right.
We're going to go south to our friends in Lima, Peru.
yay.
Hi, everyone. Well, I'm very
Pastor
excited to be here and to introduce myself. I am Maria Sierra, and my husband, Leo, and I lead as campus pastors here in Potential, Peru. We've been here for 10 years, and it's been an exciting journey.
Now, Maria, where are you originally from? Where were you born?
I'm from Colombia.
Colombia.
So
Beautiful country.
what was the route from Colombia to Peru?
Well, I was born and raised in Colombia. I lived in the U.S. for about 13 years. And then from the U.S., we moved here to Peru as a family to serve here at Potential Church.
So did you meet Pastor Leo in the U.S.?
I met Leo in Venezuela.
Oh.
Yeah, we met there.
It's amazing how life works out.
Yeah.
Multiple countries involved in your relationship.
Yeah, that's it. The time in which we live is pretty cool, when you think about how people get around and they meet and they move and they, you know, we're used to you'd be born, you know,
Stay there forever
and die. And,
The Arkansas culture.
Yeah.
Born, you find your person, you stay there, you don't leave.
it is amazing. I think in smaller towns.
Smaller towns, yeah. I would agree. Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but
I don't know either. Maybe fear of like the, you know, going to a bigger place or I don't know, but you tend to, most people tend to just kind of stay there.
both my brothers still live there. Both your sisters still live there.
They do. My parents.
Yeah. Anyways, we move on. We have, now we'll go to the he.
Well, he is Derek Rager. I've been here at Potential now for 6 years. I'm over Connect Groups and Men's Ministry. My wife is also here on staff. She has also been down south. She's Argentinian and Guatemalan. We've been together for 15 years and married for 15, together for 17. I got to make sure I get that right, especially if I want to survive.
Yeah, she'll be listening. So
She's listening.
Yeah.
So now what do you mean? How are you from two countries? Like how you said,
Well, she's Argentinian and Guatemalan because her dad is Argentinian and her mom is Guatemalan.
it's a mix.
Yeah.
and so she was born.
Here.
So she's
she's
American.
American.
But
Yeah.
her blood is Guatemalan and Argentinian.
Yeah.
She's really just an American that wants to claim Guatemala and what'd you say the other country
Argentina.
was? Argentina.
You're going to put me in a tight spot.
Yeah. Well, I could say I am
German.
German and Angola, I think, what African country.
Yeah.
Well, you are.
I think it was, yeah.
I mean, your blood is.
Yeah, my DNA is. Yes. Anyways, that's not what we came here to talk about, but we want to talk about, we've got a men's event, a women's event coming up. Actually, 3 women's events. If you think about it, we have 1 here, 2 going on in Peru in the very near future. You guys let me know in the chat. This is my thought I shared with them a few moments ago. I think for advertising and the culture in which we live, we should have a he-she event. We should put this on a t-shirt. He-she, October, what's the dates?
3rd and 4th.
October 3rd and 4th, choose your gender.
Yeah.
Come on now. I mean, in today's culture.
Yeah.
That's something.
It'd probably make news. Yeah.
I think that's an incredible idea because
Great conversation.
we did a series one time here called, what was it? Something about hell. What was Go to Hell?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think it's something like that. The series opened up with demons walking on the stage holding
Yeah,
signs.
I remember that.
You know,
That's a
don't
long
go
time
to,
ago.
don't believe this, or all the opposites of what we truly believe.
Right.
And anyway, just trying to get above the white noise. The truth is the truth, but it's important to get above the white noise because what we are trying to say when it comes to men and women and their roles and their importance is important. And sometimes it never gets heard because people got so much going on in our world. Now, we have a competition often going on, which is see who is going to sell the most tickets.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, we call it a competition, but I'm kind of, I'm a little negative.
Yeah.
A little negative because it cost me an ice bath last year.
It did.
And it will cost you this year, too.
No, it's not costing me.
Pie in the face.
You gave it up. You gave it up.
Man, it's not over yet.
It's
not over.
You're right. You're right.
But that's kind of like hoping the Florida Gators are going to win the national championship this
Yeah.
year.
And they're
Or the Miami Dolphins are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, unfortunately, probably.
It could happen.
Good.
You're right.
Or no, you know what? It's not even that because the Dolphins are good. It's believing the Marlins could make the playoffs.
But see, there's a lot of people that believe, and I do believe we will not get a pie to the face.
Yeah.
See, you're discouraging, Derek.
I know.
Just put your jersey on, not take it off.
I said I was a little negative because the guys let me down last year.
Yeah.
The women outsold us in tickets, and so I had to take an ice bath.
But I will say this: the guys did come through. There was a
well, it depends on how you look at
there
it.
was you still got an ice bath. But no, what I mean is, like in the past when we've done like men's events, it's not there's not been a huge turnout. And I felt like last year there was a good turnout.
Yeah.
Even though the ladies still won.
Right.
there was a good turnout.
Statistically, and this is why it's so crazy. Statistically, if you look at it, the impact that men have on the spiritual formation of their families is greater.
Yeah.
And that's not that's
Right.
just statistically. If you look at if men are engaged in their walk and then their walk in the church, the kids are much more likely to be involved.
Yeah, well, that's how God designed. The man is the spiritual. Set up to be the spiritual leader of the home. So, yeah. That's
So,
good.
Derek, you work with a lot of men. Why do you think that most churches the leadership is women? The bigger group of people who come are women. Often the men tend to be in the background. Do you think that is something to do with men? Is that something to do with the way ministry is done? Why do you think that happens so often?
I think honestly, when it comes to men being in the background, it's that feeling of not knowing. When they come in, it's something that's new for them, and to be vulnerable to say I don't know, and not to have a control or to step up and step out and say, hey, I want to be vulnerable enough to get to know you as a person. It's different. Men are a little standoffish. They're a little bit more reserved. And if it's not their comfort zone, then instantly it's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to step out. I don't want to be in front of. I need to be in a controlled type of setting. And I think in your book, I love how you start off being vulnerable. And it's something that most men don't know how to do. So when they step out into this new realm, especially in church where they might feel new, they like to be standoffish.
So in some ways, you think about it, it's got to, because you think if you go to a sports bar, you're going to have a bunch of guys who don't know one another. They're all of a sudden high-fiving one another and patting one another on the back and all of that. But from what I understand, what you're saying is that's because they're comfortable in that environment. And the reason they're comfortable in that environment is because from the time they were little, their father or parents brought them up in the world of athletics, where, you think it's just kind of breeds on itself, and where we tend to put athletics and whatever else above the child's, especially boys' engagement in the life of the church. Because there's no reason you think that men should feel more uncomfortable than ladies,
Right.
within the church, other than the fact that maybe they're not encouraged to do so when they're young.
I think even in the name Forged, when we started talking about the he and she, we were trying to go with the name, and you start thinking the he part. Well, when we started talking to the guys about, forged, when it's forged, we remember that it was iron sharpens iron, and it brought about a whole different type of feeling. So I think, to your point, it's something that's relative. You hear it in sports, you hear it in all these other competitive elements of iron sharpens iron. But then when you really start to open up and look at it from the standpoint of how we as men can sharpen each other just by stepping out together, it's a whole different context.
There's a great movie, if you're listening, I don't know when you're listening, you can probably get it streaming if you're listening way into the future, but called The Forged, that I went to the other day. We actually got on the podcast. If you go back to one of our prior episodes, we'll link it below, but we talked to the writer, the producer, him and his brothers, started with $20,000 that a church gave them, and now they've made 10 films. It's distributed by Sony. I think when it's the first weekend, it was like number 5 or 6 in the country, and it's made up to this point already, like I can't remember, $25-30 million. So it's done good. but it's called The Forge, and there's this great illustration in it where they have this young man hold out this sword, and it's, first he talks about how it was forged with metal and it weighed, I think, like 100 pounds or so. I can't remember. It weighed a lot. So he said to hold it up, and while he's holding it up, he's talking, about important stuff. But the idea is it gets heavier, and the heavier it gets, he's talked about how a lot of times we try to then hold it up, we just, try to force it up ourselves. He said, but if we would just humble ourselves and ask for help, and then some of the guys come and they just put their little finger underneath the sword. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
And, all of a sudden it's not that difficult at all.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool movie. It was a great interview. Alex, what was the last name? Kendrick, the Kendrick brothers. He did a great job, and we're going to drop that episode next week. So if you're watching this live, be sure and come back next week, and you'll be able to catch that conversation, because it's a great conversation about not only the movie, but just in general, the art. Is that movie in Lima? Do you know, Pastor Maria?
It came out already. Yes. The movie.
Yeah, if you get a chance, go see it. It is really, Christian movies sometimes can be,
cheesy.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this one is,
It's really
I
good.
enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It pulled me in, and it was really good.
How long is the movie?
It's long.
Yeah. It's like a couple hours, I think.
It's like 2 hours and 2 minutes, and they said they have film. Alex was saying for 2.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Because the young guy, he said he goes through a lot more, but they didn't include it in the movie, because when they talked to Sony said, listen, if you make a 2.5 hour movie, it's only going to show 2 or 3 times a day. Mm-hmm. If you make a 2 hour movie, it'll show 5 times a day. And that's just more people that have the opportunity to come in and see it.
Yeah.
And from your perspective, Pastor Maria, is it the same idea or less or more there in Peru, as far as there's this tendency for men to kind of be in the background in the spiritual life of the family, and especially the church, or is it different there?
Yeah, most definitely. I think that men like to be more in the background. I think because women are more social, then they are more open to serve, to be in a community, to be in connect groups, to be a part of missions, activities. We do have a good amount of men involved, obviously, but there's more openness, I think, when it comes to the women. At least when we do Forge here in Peru, we need to make sure that we have food. That's like our catch. We have food, we have this environment for them, and then, that's how they come. And they don't know all the things that we have prepared for them, but they just focus, food will be there.
Yeah, that's
So men
I'm
come
gonna
for the
echo
food.
that.
Yeah.
I'm going to echo that 100%.
They came for the food last year too. They were here early. They had food.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, wow, they showed up.
I also heard that she wanted to come over for the food too.
Yeah.
Probably
well,
so, yeah.
We like food too.
We do like food.
it's just always interesting to me, because like I said, if you go out to the Little League park, most of the coaches are going to be men.
Yeah.
A lot of the dads are going to be there. And their engagement is immediate, even with people they don't know. You know what I mean? And maybe it's because their kids are playing, but you do the same thing here. Try to get men to volunteer to help with the student ministry or the children's ministry, the preschool ministry. It's a much greater challenge. And I wonder how much of that is just the enemy knows the impact that men can have.
Yeah.
And then, really works hard to convince them that it's not worth valuing, really. You know what I mean? And we're trying to break that, not just with this event, but in all of ministry, is to make sure that, it's included with men. I've heard sometimes the challenge with this is that well, pastors tend to be, more feminine, and so they don't attract the masculine man. Of course, being a pastor myself, I don't agree with that. Do you, Derek?
I don't agree with that at all.
You got two pastors here, and we're as manly as it can
Yes.
be. Pastor Leo's masculine, isn't he, Maria?
He is for sure. He is.
But I've heard that said, they just can't relate, because, but again, I think most of the pastors I know were, into hunting and fishing and
sports and all of that. Yeah.
I mean, it takes a real man to get a tattoo.
Gosh. That's hilarious.
So, Pastor Danny was wondering, why should men attend this event?
Pastor Danny was wondering.
Pastor Danny was wondering, which is probably a pretty good question, because the guys out there are listening. They're thinking, last thing I need to do is show up for something else. People are always asking, really, everybody. But so we'll start with the guys, since we've been talking about the guys, and then we'll talk about the ladies. But if a guy comes, what is he walking away with?
Well, he's walking away with other guys that he can actually do life with. I think it's a safe place that we get to actually come out, hang out, and actually have real conversations. I think that's something that even you, as we just said about pastors being open and talking, you bring a level of authenticity, especially last year when you spoke, where it was just, you had a real conversation. And guys, we don't have real conversations because a lot of times we're reserved, but the event that we're going to be having, we're going to have some open conversations, and we have a lot of other guys that have been through things that are going to be able to speak to other men as fathers, as brothers, and guys don't have a lot of that because we don't position ourselves to be around that. We position ourselves to either be by ourselves or just in how we just spoke about in athletic environments, because we have a specific topic to talk about. But when we come out together, we're going to be able to talk about life in general, and Force is going to be able to bring that together.
Yeah.
In a way that doesn't feel uncomfortable, hopefully. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Because I think you're onto something in the sense that guys will get together and talk sports, but not reveal a lot of what they're truly struggling with. And I think to be able to have those kind of conversations in such a way that are normalized, as opposed to being weird, or because normally when you think about, it's like I know you guys watching, listening, probably y'all, Steph will know because we used to watch it together, but there used to be this show on it called Coach. Did y'all ever see Coach?
Great show.
What year did that come out?
That came out, I think, in 2021. All right.
21.
Anyway, you had, Coach, what was his name?
But
anyway,
his name?
I don't know, but he coached at Minnesota. He's a football coach. And then Hayden Fox.
Yeah, Hayden
Coach
Fox.
Hayden Fox. And then actually Dick Van Dyke's brother played the assistant coach. He's kind of
so
a goofball. But his daughter marries a drama person. You know what I'm saying? And he's always, wanting to get to the deeper level. Coach Fox is like, I don't want to talk about that. And I think, men tend to think that, the only one that really cares about their feelings is the weird dude. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to define weird because I'll offend somebody, but I think there's that kind of mindset. So I think it's awesome that, at the event, it's an opportunity to be invited into, but not forced into, conversations that are important, but don't feel weird.
Well, you know what the best part about us being able to have these conversations, other than we get to listen to an amazing speaker that's going to be there.
Dr. Dave is really
Dr. Dave is one of them. Dr. Dave is one of them, along with Pastor Troy. But we're going to be doing it over food. We're going to have great food before people come in and after. So you get to talk and eat.
That's good.
What more could you want?
Talk and eat. Very simple. We're
Yeah.
simple. Guys
As
are
women,
simple.
we're like, let's just talk.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
be good.
Yes.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
You don't think the ladies like to eat?
Yeah, I do.
But they like to
you
talk,
could, You
too.
could not have the food. For the men, I feel like if you didn't have the food and you just said, let's get together and talk.
Yeah.
That's, I think,
Right.
part of, if there's nothing to talk about, there's not that connection piece.
Yeah.
Then they don't want to come up with it. Like women can talk about
Anything.
So why do you think that ladies are attracted to an event like you guys are having?
I mean, I think ladies love to get together, to dress up and to hang out.
Yeah.
You know, like I think it's natural for like girls to have girl time,
nights.
you know,
Yeah.
like girl nights and the time where we're planning our dinner and we're planning, you know, the time away from the kids. You know, people love that. Give them an opportunity to run from the kids and we're running, you know. So I just think, you know, it's just an easier draw because ladies already naturally draw to the girls'
that community.
night. And getting together and hanging out and talking, and you don't have to be around a specific subject to be able to get together. We just
talk.
do it.
Yeah.
Could talk about anything, you know. So
I do think women are wired more for that. I think than men naturally, you know.
So now, Maria, you guys are having 2 nights in Peru. And again, if you guys are interested in being a part and you're watching this live, then you can, the link is below, or you're listening live, the link is below. You can get tickets and register for the one here in South Florida, which is the cost for the one here is
$45.
It's 45, they think. All right. And is there? And then how about in Lima? Is there a cost involved there?
Yes, it is 40 soles.
40 soles.
40 soles.
Which is about 3 to the dollar, right?
It's about like $8 probably.
Okay.
$9.
Yeah.
So anyways, all that information is below. Are you seeing, so we're doing 2 nights there. There's also, if you're in another part of the country, there's an online ticket. So you can, now I want to encourage you, if you're in Lima or you're anywhere here in South Florida, you want to be here so you can be part of the community, but you can't always be here. So there is value in online because you're going to get not only the teachings and the worship, but there's an online community. Many of you know, if you do life online, if you're watching this, there's comments and ways to interact. And we want to continue to build on that because there are millions of people that have the opportunity to listen to not only this podcast, but to be a part of She. And what's the tag?
She is the future.
She is, well, I don't know if I agree with that, but she is the future and forged. Do you have a tagline?
Forging the future.
Yeah.
Forging the future.
It's all about the future.
I don't know if I agree with that. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I foresee the ladies.
So my question to Maria, all right, took me 15 minutes to get here, is are you seeing more of one age group be interested and register for She and similar type ministries?
Interestingly enough, there has been a lot of interest in women interested by like from our youth. A lot of our girls have like gathered, and what we've done with them, if they don't have all the money, they can at least reserve their spot with 5 soles, and then gradually they continue to pay. So there's a lot of interested people from that age group. But honestly, at the same time, I think that all ages, they just want to be there. I mean, they're excited about the speakers that we're going to have. They're excited to have Pastor Steph there teaching as well. So it's going to be a beautiful night. And we have 2 nights available because we want to make sure that we can reach the most ladies that we are able to. That's why we have the 2 dates.
Yeah, last year you had one and it was a full house for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. What about here? Is there more single ladies, more married ladies, more young ladies like yourself, or older ladies?
I think we always at our She Nights have a wide range of all ages, and something I love. And Pastor Maria mentioned that there's a like a big interest in the youth, and I love that. The next generation, that they're desiring that. So yeah, but I think it's women of all ages.
So we got just a little bit of time left. So I want you guys to think about this, because we want to encourage, we wanted to have a conversation about men and women, and especially the guys, just simply because so often they're followers instead of leaders. And but as we think about these events specifically, or events like this, but what is something you are most looking forward to? All right. So think about that for a minute. As you think about the upcoming She and Forged, and I know we've already had the Forged in Lima, but we have the She coming up. What are you most looking forward to? And I'm going to add to it, and because we only got 11 seconds left. All right. But we can go over. All right. What are you most looking forward to? What are you most afraid of? Because you guys are leaders. Okay. What are you most afraid of? What are you most looking forward to? And out of respect for the ladies, to give them more time to think about it, I'm going to go to you first, Derek.
I look most forward to being able to see that curiosity that the younger men have of what is a man, the world view of it, and what is a godly man. Mm-hmm. And they get to come with other men and see what that is and what some of those differences are. And then they begin to ask more questions and go deeper. And I love to see that impact. But then the thing I'm most worried about is once the event is over, what do they do then? Mm-hmm. Do they stay connected? Do they keep going? Because we don't have all the great food, we don't have all the great speakers to continue that same level of energy, but will they actually connect and still be vulnerable afterward and have that same drive?
Very good.
That's good.
All right, which of you ladies want to go first?
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Excuse me. I think I'm most excited just about the community that's built after She Night. So I think it's a little bit different than Forge. I mean, from what we've seen with the ladies is that they get engaged afterwards. Like you see a lot of women take steps after that night into the life of the church. Yeah. And that always brings me so much passion, because we don't just do She and Forge to just do She and Forge. Yeah. The goal is to get them engaged afterwards in the life of the church so that they can grow in their walk with the Lord. So I'm just excited about that, and just for the ladies to be encouraged about their future. A lot of times in the life of a woman, we go through a lot of different seasons where your vision can be blurred of your future. And I think the theme is so exciting because like it says in Proverbs, she laughs at the fear of the future. And we all want to be excited about our future. Yeah. We don't want to be fearful. We want to be passionate. We want to look at the future and laugh at it and not be afraid of it. And I think that the ladies are going to be really encouraged by Pastor Steph and Pastor Christine and just the environment that they're going to be coming into. And it's going to be really exciting. So I'm excited just to see them get engaged afterwards in the community that they'll build. And to be honest, I'm just most afraid of us just going a little bit longer than we should. So we have a lot to pack in. We have a lot to pack in that night. So there's the ladies love the worship. We have a lot of different elements. And this is the first time in a couple of years that we've just done one night for the whole year. We used to do 3. So it's like, ooh, they're looking forward to a jam-packed night. So, but we want to honor, of course, everybody's time as well. So.
Yeah.
We don't want the pastor to get upset.
No, we don't.
We do not.
The last thing we want.
We do not want that, because I have to live with the pastor.
And we'll be on time.
Oh, we will be on time. We will be. I think for me, it's similar to what both Derek and Amber said. I get most excited just seeing ladies' lives impacted. And, I know that if they show up, no matter what challenges or difficulties or struggles they had to face to get there, that their life is going to be impacted. And, we have ladies from all seasons of life that will walk through the doors and, many of them going through, some really tough challenges and are doing life alone. And so I just, I get so excited about seeing them come in and be able to get connected. And as Amber was sharing, not even, for a lot of them, that's their first step. They may come on the weekend, but they're not really engaged or connected. And, they come to She Night and they make some new friends. And, they are part of a community and they leave there and, are inspired to be more engaged and more connected. And so I just get excited just knowing that if they show up, that their life will be impacted and in a big way. So, and I guess for me, as kind of leading our She Night. A worry. I don't know that it's really a worry, but a thing always in the back of my mind is, are the ladies going to show up? Are they going to? Because we all tend to, this culture, we tend to wait till the very last second, to get our tickets, and which makes it hard when you're, planning the event. And Amber and I many times will say, oh gosh, it's 2 weeks away, and are the ladies going to come? But at the end of the day, I know that God's in control, and we've had amazing She Nights, so it's, I guess, not really a worry, but there's that little thing in my mind are they going to show up? We've done all this work and preparation. And so, but it's going to be amazing.
How about you, Pastor Maria?
Yes, I'm excited about challenging them. I think that we like to live on a comfort zone, and I would really like to challenge them to realize that the decisions that we make today truly affect our future, have an impact on our future. So with the guest speakers that we're having and through the whole experience, that is my hope, that that they will realize that there's purpose in their life, that the decisions that they make will have that impact, and that they can accomplish their dreams, that they can continue to grow in their spiritual life and in their personal growth. So I'm really excited about that. And what am I most afraid of? Technical difficulties.
That's a good one.
That's the truth.
Well, thank you guys so much for being a part. I appreciate all my guests hanging out with me early on this morning. Don't forget to get your tickets. No matter what platform you're listening or watching on, you can get them below. Click the link, whether it's in South America or actually here. And there's an online version. But again, I want to encourage you, if you live in any of the areas, come check it out. Don't be afraid. If you've never been to either campus, just come, and I promise you will feel welcome. And if you live in another part of the world, we'd love to have you join our community online. Some great people will be hosting those events as well. Subscribe, and share, because there's somebody that needs to be encouraged as well. Don't forget, you've got the book. It's been out for seems like it's been out for years, but it's been out for only about 3 months, and would love for you to be able to have the opportunity to read it. It's a Kindle version. You can get it Amazon, you can get it Barnes & Noble. The audio version should be out. I don't know if it is, but it should be out. You get that maybe as well. But it's been an honor to get to talk with you guys today. And if you'd like to hear some of our teachings that we do on the weekend, you can always go to Potential Church's handles or the potentialchurch.com and check that out. We'd love for you to come and see us on the weekend, whether you do it on person or online. As always, I love getting to hang out and talk about things that are important so that together we can reach our potential. We'll see you next Thursday right here. God bless and have a great day.